still working on that. Yeah, we should have it next.
Good afternoon. It is now 4:01, and I'm going to bring this meeting of the Roswell City Council Infrastructure Committee to order. If we could have a roll call, please.
Councilor Roebuck,
Here.
Councilor Kennard,
Here.
Councilor Peterson,
Here.
Councilor Sanchez.
Thank you very much. And could I get a motion to approve the agenda and the minutes?
I move to approve the agenda and the minutes of the January 25th, 2021 meeting.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We're on to E, non-action items. Mr. Nahar. Hello today.
Mr. Chairman, committee, good afternoon. Okay, our item we have now is project updates discussion. I'll start with the pictures that you can see. As you can remember, some of my presentations have been talking about the gym floor at the Boys Club. Well, we started fixing it and it's repaired. So the pictures you see on the left, first picture is the floor. As they're getting ready to do the floor leveling, they fixed the cracks, filled in the cracks, did some grinding. You can see on the right side of the picture how it had settled. That was on the pool side of the gym, the old pool. And then the picture on your right is where they were mixing sand and cementitious and the leveling epoxy. Next slide. And the picture on the left, you can see that they built the forms and they shot it and laser leveled and shot it and put the marks on the forms, applied the floor leveling compound, and then the picture on the right is the completed level gym floor. So now we got to build the play surface on top of that.
How much did it increase the elevation of the floor?
Go back a picture. There, where you settlement, that was 4 inches of settlement on the very right.
Okay.
Now go back to the finished pic, the other side one. And around in the middle of the floor, about 3/4 of an inch.
Okay.
And then we stand for any questions, either on the dashboard for engineering projects, facility projects that's in your packet.
I have a very tangentially related question on the Boys and Girls Club, and this is really just a personal pet peeve. It's the hours and dates and times for the pool that has been closed for maybe 10 years, maybe not quite that long yet, are still painted on the wall there. Every time I drive by that, I'm like, there's no pool there. Is that something we can do, help the Boys and Girls Club with, and paint that wall over?
Which wall is it painted on? I don't even.
It's right as you're driving there. The gym's right there. It's the wall that was the pool wall, I guess.
Okay, we'll check it out.
Yeah, it's just I think it's kind of like, it's disheartening because there's no pool there anymore, and it says the pool's open from these months and stuff like that.
Yeah, and the
so-
pool's been filled in, so.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll look for it.
Sometime. So thank you for that. Any questions from any of the other committee members? If not, we can move on.
Mr. Chair, committee members. I'm here to update you on a proposed water conservation plan. The city has a water trust board application to continue replacement of old water lines in the Edgewood area of Roswell. In 2019, phase 1 was performed to construct new water line on North Garden and also stub out a 12-inch water line on East Cherry Street. The current application is to continue construction of a new 12-inch water main on Cherry Street from Garden Street east to Atkinson Avenue. Cost is estimated at $1 million. The application is for $750,000. As part of the application qualifications, the Water Trust Board requires that the city update and adopt a water conservation plan. Currently, the City of Roswell 1993 Water Conservation Plan does not meet the requirements for the Water Trust Board. The Office of the State Engineer will be the state regulatory agency for the Water Conservation Plan. On the financial consideration, there's none at this time. The Office of the State Engineer has submitted a template of a water conservation plan. Water Maintenance and Transmission Department will prepare the water conservation plan in-house. Once a draft is available, the water conservation plan will be submitted for legal review. At this time, this is just an informational item. Once a final draft of the water conservation plan is available, it will come back to committee for review and recommendation for adoption. And in the picture up above, this kind of like one of the reasons that we're going with the conservation plan, trying to conserve our resources. You look in the photo, that's North Pennsylvania up there where we have water in the road. What happens when you get water in the road, you get traffic driving over it, it tends to start cracking the road and it starts creating a lot of potholes. So we want to preserve, our resources and start saving on the damage to the roads, all the sprinkler systems running down the roads and all of that type of stuff. We want to get a plan together so we have some more enforcement to regulate the waste of water. Okay, and with that, I stand for any questions.
Questions from the committee? Can you give me a broader description of what else a water conservation plan covers, what other departments it affects? So if we're talking about here, we're talking about making changes to ultimately, will this make changes to any of our code or anything of that nature?
It will change the ordinance on it. I mean, because it takes in tons of different. Hold on just a second. If you give me a second.
Ultimately, what's the goal of the water? Outside of the obvious in the title, but.
Well, it's to conserve our resources, really, and it's to prevent damage, like you see there. It costs a lot to produce the water, so you want to reduce those costs. You want to reduce the waste of the water. We only have so many water rights and everything, so we want to preserve that valuable resource. Everybody says we have a lot of water here in town. That's not true. It's a valuable resource.
Even if we have lots of it, it's still valuable.
Yeah, so you want to make sure and take care of that resource always. But, the conservation plan, it has waste of water, water conservation. Let me find my paperwork real quick.
No, that's okay.
Give me just a second.
Mr. Chairman, committee, we do have an ordinance that takes us in chapter 12 of our ordinances, but it's an old ordinance. It also has to deal with leaving the sprinklers running, or it even would address maybe car washes and that kind of stuff, depending how stringent you want to get. But
Sure. Well, I think certainly, this is a great example of a real issue.
And
I always like solving real problems versus ones that
and
we're
this
just
picture I
imagining.
picked because this is a real issue that we just fixed not too long ago from a council that turned it in. And that's on Pennsylvania, kind of close by Golden Corral, behind Farmers Country Market, that apartment complex back there, the senior living complex back there. And it was always coming from the complex itself. Beautiful yards, but all the drainage goes to the street, and when the street stops draining, that's what happens.
There's certainly a couple of institutions on Kentucky that have a similar problem. I won't call anybody out by name. in a
Well, in
committee meeting,
Kentucky, on Mescalero, Pennsylvania, and they're big institutions, and I would like to see the water conservation plan address this kind of stuff, because we have to go in there, fix the repairs. That repair cost $10,000 when we were done. You start adding those nickel and dime, one in every block, there's a lot of money in a hurry.
Okay, so it has objectives and reasons for a conservation plan, water conservation goals, prioritized goals, evaluation of the goals, water conservation programs, measures you're going to take to do it, like water efficient fixtures, appliances, toilets, urinals, shower heads, that type of deal. Low water use for landscaping, efficient irrigation. water efficient commercial and industrial use for processes and their process control, water reuse system for both potable and non-potable water, distribution system leak repair, and dissemination of information regarding water use efficiency measures, including public education programs and demonstrations of water saving, water rate structures designed to encourage water use efficiency and reuse in a fiscally responsible manner, and incentives to implement water use efficiency techniques, including rebates to customers or others to encourage the installation of water use efficiency and reuse measures. So it's kind of got a ton of information put in there to try to make that's basically the water conservation, but there's a lot to it. We have to get a lot of information together that they're asking for.
Counselor.
Thanks. One thing that I saw on we need more like enforcement, like you know, I hope the plan has a way to, you know, give these people a citation or something, because some people, they won't listen to you.
Right, and we do get code enforcement involved on those issues, because you've given me several calls to let me know when they're wasting water somewhere, and we address it immediately. We have got code enforcement involved, but you're right. I think this conservation plan will help us move in the right direction and give us a little bit more enforcement on that side of it.
Thanks.
Great. If there's no further comments, we will move on to item number 4, sewer manhole rehabilitation project.
I'll shuffle my paperwork around and give me just a second. Right there, Lewis. Shuffle around my shit. Okay. Okay, this is also an update of the proposed 2021 sewer manhole rehab project, ITB 21-010. The city has been performing rehabilitation of its approximately 4,000 sewer manholes since 2001. The yearly project consists of approximately 50 manholes a year and a yearly budget of $250,000. 2021 project work consists of 49 manholes. Plans have been completed by the city engineering department. Schedule is to advertise March 14th, 2021, and open bids April 13th, 2021. And the engineer's estimate is attached. The project will be funded from current water enterprise or water sewer. This will be on the sewer enterprise fund. This is not applicable for agenda item. This is informational item at this time. And staff recommendation is proceed with ITB 21-010, 2021 sewer manhole rehab project. And with that, I'll stand for any questions.
Any questions from the committee? Yes, Councilor Kenner.
So each of these manhole costs about $5,000 to repair. Is that about right?
Let's see, it varies. There's a breakdown on the sewer manhole rehab project right here.
Uh-huh.
So is that about right? 5,000
It's about
per month?
4,500. When
About
you add if there needs a collar or not, and the collar is the concrete part on top that you drive on that's really rough sometimes.
We have a lot of adjust to grade stuff where they redo, like you said, they put new manhole rings, they adjust the collars on top of epoxy coating the sewer manholes.
But historically, Counselor, it's been about 5,000 apiece. We try to do 50, plus or minus. And what changes is the depth of the manhole and the condition of the manhole. So what we
Okay.
do, the guys go out there and measure it between utility department and engineering department. The guys go measure it, look at it, and then we put an estimate how many vertical feet. And we also need to know if it's concrete or brick manhole. And then on top, does the collar need to be adjusted to grade, either because it's loose or because there was an overlay or it's settled or stuff like that. But to answer your question, about 5,000 apiece.
Okay, and I was just wondering, because I don't know much about manholes, so I was just wanting to know, it's for safety purposes that we do this throughout the city every year, right?
Yes, we started this program in 2001. We've been doing it. The picture that you see is actually the blue epoxy, the final finish. But let me walk you through a manhole rehab. So typically they go in there and they do all the collars first, adjust everything to grade, put a new lid and cover. I don't know if you've ever seen a sewer lid that we have. It actually has City of Roswell on it. And then they go in there. You literally have to drop a man down there with the gas monitor on a tripod so we can reel him in and reel him out. And they literally have to buy 5-gallon buckets to muck the bottom of the sewer manhole, clean it out, and then you power wash it with 4,000 PSI water, and then you spin a cementitious material that spins at nice, clean profile, and then we put the 2 coats of the blue epoxy, about an eighth of an inch thick. And the first project that we did was in 1999, and that was the lift station at the base. And we did this process just so we could make it last 2 more years. The lift station's still there. It's already gone through valves, through pumps, through all sorts of stuff. And the city of Roswell, and I got to brag on this one, they've used, a lot of cities have borrowed and used our spec, because this product and this process is really good. Now, there's 4,000 manholes, if I remember correctly. Yep. So when you're doing 50 a year, we're probably up to the 20th year. We're about a quarter done. And we started with the worst ones. And yes, it's a safety aspect. You saw what happened on Garden Avenue. And we've had a lot of projects that we started rehabbing, and we had to stop because it was too late in the rehab process, that we had to go back in there and completely take it down and redo it. Besides the one on Garden, the last one that we did like that was across the street here on 10th Street, right there by that little convenience store in the alley. We had to do that. The guys were in there working. I went in there, saw what they was doing, told them cease and desist, get the guys out of there, and we had to redo the manhole by demolishing it and rebuilding it. A whole different process. I hope that answers your question, probably more than you wanted to know.
No, thank you.
You're
you.
an expert now. But yeah, that is our concern. We want to keep this manhole rehab project going because there is 4,000. By the time we get back to the tail end of it and we think we're done, we're probably going to have to restart the process all over again.
Yes, it'll be somebody, it won't be us.
Right. But it's going to be like that. We're going to have to keep on going, and it's going to be an ongoing process. So we want to make sure to try to keep this going annually
Now,
if possible.
These manholes originally, how old are these things? Obviously, there's going to be a range of ages, of course, but the oldest, the brick ones, I assume, are the oldest ones.
I'd probably say the 30s.
30s, 40s.
Okay.
Yeah. They're very
So
old.
they're all going on 80, 90, 100 years?
Yes, and the thing is, when we started this, we started with the biggest manholes on the 42-inch lines, 48-inch lines, which were considered the worst because they give off the worst gas. One thing that you have that people don't realize, that the gas, the sulfuric gas, the H2S gas inside our manholes is probably one of the worst in the state. And the reason why, we're so flat, so the gas just builds up and stays there. But, we require these guys to stay monitored, have the monitors on there. When the alarm goes off, we have to reel them out. And when we're doing a manhole, let's say there's a manhole here, we go to the manhole upstream and downstream. We put a vent in there, and we're sucking the gas out. So when we're doing this at the neighborhood, it's not a very pleasant odor, but it's all intended for the safety of the guy that's on the harness.
Any other questions? If not, we'll move on. Thank you very much. Let's go on to
Thank you.
F, number 5, consider asset management plan resolution. Mr. Nahar.
Okay, again, to kind of follow on the water conservation plan, we have a application, and they're also going to require that we have an asset management plan. And the reason that the state and the DFA, Department of Finance, wants to make sure that we have all these plans is they want all the entities to be thinking, and not just building something, but maintaining it. So as the process is to maintain our eligibility, they're giving us 4 years to do it. You start with the resolution and commitment from City Council. I did put in your packet an IQ test that we got to do along this way, but it would answer your kind of questions on asset management and what they're going to be looking for in the program. But it's kind of like what we discussed now with the sewer manholes. We have a program, we keep on doing it. We have a program for large diameter valves. Where's the money coming from? It's going to come from the water enterprise. Are we looking at wage, utility rate hikes and that kind of stuff? So the first step is that there's a resolution, council commits to it, and then water utility will have to put an asset management, because there is no template. We have to hire this one out for the budget in '22, and we just slowly get it done, and we keep track on a yearly, doing our yearly IQ test back to DFA. And I stand for any questions.
Any questions from the committee?
And this is Resolution 2113. The number's not on there, but the number was issued today. So
Great, 2113.
Yes, sir.
So just to,
Recommend it to council?
yep, yeah, we're definitely recommend to council, but so basically, this is just a endorsement of this.
Correct. What this resolution is saying is that the city council will support and
It's
that
a
we
thumbs
start
up.
an asset management plan. We're not doing anything money-wise now,
Right, but that
but
will
it will
come.
be part of the fiscal year '22 budget
Yeah,
out of water enterprise.
okay, just want to make sure everybody was clear with that, so this is
And legal, Parker did get back to me. He is comfortable with the resolution.
great, great. If there's no questions, I'd entertain a motion on this.
I move to recommend Resolution 21-13, Water Utility Asset Management Plan to the City Council, March 11th, 2021 City Council meeting.
Second.
Second, any other questions? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, item number 6, landfill professional services, Unit 5A. A for awesome.
Yes, sir. Infrastructure Committee Chair, committee members, good afternoon. We are looking to, it's a two-part action requested here. So it's a consider recommendation to approve professional services agreement in the amount of $162,000, $316.06 for the municipal landfill Unit 5A bidding, construction administration, and observation to SMA, which is part 1. Part 2 is we're asking approval to send this to the Finance Committee for further consideration as well. To provide you some background, our current engineering consultant has calculated that the current cell 4, which you'll see in the slide as in the yellow area, it's a little bit smaller area. It's going to reach its capacity in about 5.5 months. So this is one of what we did, that's why the compactor came into play to help us slow that down and give us a little bit more time. SMA Engineering is assessing we have about 109,500 cubic yards of airspace remaining, and the city receives approximately 14,800 cubic yards per month. The Roswell Municipal Landfill is mitigating the fill rate with the larger compactor and also an alternative daily cover. The alternative daily cover, what that does, it's a 100-foot by 100-foot canvas that we put over the garbage on a daily basis. We actually implemented it today. So what that does is, what we did before, what the landfill was doing before is every day they would collect dirt from a borrow source, introduce it to the landfill, cover the trash on a daily basis. So what we're doing now is we're using a canvas where we'll be covering the dirt Monday evening, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Saturday, we'll use the dirt, and then we'll uncover it again on Monday. So this kind of slows down the fill rate of the cell. SMA is finalizing the Unit 5A plans and state approval process that we've already asked them to expedite. Unit 5A needs to be submitted for a bid construction immediately. City engineering, finance, SMA, and NMED staff are ready and available for this item to be expedited. Financial consideration for this $162,000. The funding source for the professional services agreement is to be funded from existing sanitation landfill budget. There is no legal action required at this time. And again, the board and committee action is we're asking for this approval also go to finance for further consideration. And again, our staff recommendation is going to be consider the approval of professional services agreement to SMA in the amount of $162,316.06. I will be available to answer any questions regarding this committee and chair and committee members. Also, we have SMA Consulting on the line. Mr. Lewis, representing the city engineer, is going to be available. Want to be able to aid with the financial consideration. I stand for any questions.
My first question is what, I'm looking at this picture here. What's the A mean versus just plain old 5? Because I don't see a 5A on the.
So 5 is one entire unit.
Okay.
So we're splitting that in two pieces. On the north side, which if I'm facing the screen, it's going to be on your right.
Okay, got
The
it.
right side of 5, that's going to be 5A.
Okay.
So 5A and 4 is going to be stopping pretty soon. When we bring 5A up to that level, we're going to close them together. So
Okay.
4 is going to have to be stopping pretty soon and bring it together. And then 5B, that's going to be down the road that we'll be considering. But that entire 5A, if I'm not mistaken, is 37 acres.
So how big is 5 total, just as a reference?
30,
Oh, 42.
that's 42 acres.
Yeah, okay, I see it now. It's kind of small. Okay. Questions from the committee?
On this last photo, council chair and committee members, you can see the cell on the right-hand side. We're facing south here. On the right-hand side, you can see the fences and they have our equipment up there. That's kind of where the cell's at that point. It's actually a lot higher now. And we have introduced a new compactor into the cell on Friday. So we're attacking that compaction rate, bringing it down to slow the cell, kind of give us either 5.5 months or a little bit more time. So give us time to put the bid documents together to get 5A constructed and going.
Assuming that we're able to move forward with all this expediently, will there be any, or is there any fear that we won't be able to get this open in time?
I think we can do it. SMA, and they're on the phone, they're trying to get it this week or the beginning of next week to New Mexico Environmental, because they say their plans are pretty well done. Once Environmental approves Souter Miller's plans, the current best estimate that we're looking at for bidding would be advertised Sunday, March 14th. Open bids probably either Monday or Tuesday, April 5th or 6th. And then we would take it directly to council for April the 8th. So then, that being said, the contract documents could be put together April 9th or that Monday afterwards. The apparent low bidder, awarded low bidder, would get the contracts. As soon as they come back with their insurance and bonds, we could go to work. The digging of and you can see the picture there as you're looking towards, like towards your left, part of the hole's already dug. So we could get going in a hurry. One of the things that Souter Miller has done in the plans is to phase it into 2 phases. So we could possibly get first phase of the project done, certified by New Mexico ED, and we could start using it before we're finished with the other part. So I think if Souter Miller does their stuff and gets it to New Mexico ED and gets it approved as they say they will, we have a very good chance of making it.
Any other questions from the committee? We appreciate the folks on the phone as well. I don't know if they want to say anything, but we don't necessarily need that.
Souter Miller, would you like to say anything, Scott?
No, sir, I think you covered it well. Thank you for the option, though.
Okay. So we're going to send this to Finance. We're going to refer this to Finance Committee. So if I would entertain a motion.
I move to approve to the Finance Committee the professional service agreement in the amount of $162,313.06 to the Finance Committee on March 4th.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Moving on, digester roof repair.
Mr. Chair, committee, the action requested is consider approval to award Spear Construction LLC roofing repairs for the wastewater treatment plant digester roof, estimated in an amount of $153,470, utilizing the city on-call roofing RFP. The wastewater treatment plant digester roof is in need of repair. Spear Construction has been used in the past by the wastewater treatment plant and has been satisfied with their workmanship. This work was requested and quoted in 2019. Due to the budget constraints, this work was delayed. Leaks have increased, and it is imperative to get the work done as soon as possible. Financial consideration, the budget is available through the current wastewater treatment plant budget. The action request is to consider recommending to award Spear Construction LLC roofing repairs for the wastewater treatment plant digester roof, estimated in amount of $153,470, utilizing city on-call roofing RFP, and sent to March 11, 2021 City Council. And the staff recommendation is proceed with digester roof repair as presented. And up here in the slides, there is some photos of the roof repair. I mean, it's pretty bad shape now. We got a lot of leaks going inside of the digester, on top of our boiler, a lot of the motors and pumps, and down the sides of the walls. It's been delayed since 2019. It just hasn't been in the budget, and now we do have it in the budget where it's available to go ahead and get it repaired. With that, I stand for any questions.
Questions from the committee? It is funny that it's a water treatment plant. We're trying to keep water out of it. just the right water, but, okay, if there's no comments from the committee or questions, I'd entertain a motion, and I think, as this is pretty standard fare, let's go ahead and send it to consent.
Okay. I move to recommend approval.
I'm sorry, unless there's any objections to consent. Okay, great, that's fine. Go ahead.
I move to recommend approval of the award to Spear Construction for the wastewater treatment plant digester roof, estimated in the amount of $153,470.64, to consent on the March 11th City Council meeting.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Department reports.
Mr. Chairman, committee, in your packet, you have the monthly reports. The picture that you have is over there at South Main by the old Payless. Right there by the Hondo River, we put what they call a HAWK, capital H-A-W-K, all capital, pedestrian light. This New Mexico DOT did provide all the parts, and Special Electronics helped put it up and run some wires. That's what they're putting up all over Albuquerque. So we've got one on our streets, and we're just waiting to see what people think about it. Some people in Albuquerque like it, some people don't. It's a little bit different, but we're willing to try if the DOT would provide all the materials, and we just put in a little in-kind services and elbow grease to help put it up. And I stand for any questions. We have facility maintenance here, and of course, utility director here to answer any questions on department report.
Did we have any idea about how many people use that crosswalk? I guess we will now, because now we'll have, or will we have now?
You know what? We haven't done a study on that in a long time.
Sure.
I would say, the original crossing there was, we used that to service the Yucca.
Mm-hmm.
And the Yucca's gone, so I would think that some of the traffic is gone. But there's always, the Hondo Trail's not as used as much as the Spring River Trail out here, but it is used, and when we go out there and take a ride, we'll see people using it.
Okay.
But as far as the count,
I'm not saying we need to do a study. I was just curious if they
no,
had one.
I couldn't answer that at all.
I noticed in the report here that the traffic calming cameras, they were over by the rec center where we put the new curve in, correct?
Those are permanent.
Oh, those are permanent.
Those are permanent. When we built that project, we made that permanent.
Okay.
And the reason I did that is, you remember before the project,
So we have another set like that are not permanent.
yeah, we have a traveling set. We had it on North Garden. Right now, it's at the intersection it's on Wyoming, south and north of
Yeah.
Alameda.
Okay.
I have that because I also have to make a report to the General Services Committee, Public Safety Committee in March. And so we have that one. We also have another set of radar on Hobbs, a 600 block between Washington and Lee. But we use the traveling radar to respond to citizens' complaints, and then what people don't realize is that radar is also doing a study.
Right.
So, and then if you give me permission, we can put a camera on the back of those radars and send a letter to those with the license plate.
Sure. Sure, that's a.
And I can buy
yes.
more radar.
Well, I think there, at some point, we do need to have a discussion about cameras in general, actually. All serious and all joking aside.
And special electronics, I don't know if you read the reports in the past, but we have been putting extra cameras at the traffic signals.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much for traffic detection, but to help Roswell PD.
Yeah, and that's, I'm sure that we have some citizens who aren't excited about that prospect, but I also, the flip side of that, as I think about, as we're installing things like, splash pads and, the new all-inclusive park and things like that, a way to protect those investments, a lot of ways, the
Yes,
most
and
economical way to protect those investments
And
is.
if I remember correctly, when facility maintenance is here, there will be cameras at the Carpenter Park. And when I do the inclusive park, there will be cameras at the inclusive park as well.
So it's just a great way to not only protect the assets, but also protect people as well. So to keep eyes on our public spaces and keep our private spaces private. So, fantastic. Any questions, other questions? Go ahead, Counselor.
At Virginia and Second, on the lights, there's a lot of wrecks over there.
Virginia and Second, there are a lot of wrecks. I did a study on that 2 years ago. There was 33 accidents in a 3-year period. But talking to the DOT and me as city engineer, the strongest thing that we have is a traffic light. There's nothing, we have signs there. Of course, you have the railroad tracks there. What was, to me, interesting about that study, the accidents were daytime accidents.
Oh, they're always.
Lunchtime and 5 o'clock time. So people are just in a hurry to get through the light.
Is there any way to manipulate pause it more or
We do put
manipulate
that, but we don't like to discuss that because we have done that. And if you notice, if you're sitting in a light and you're sitting on a red light and the cross traffic is on a green light, you'll notice there's about a 1-2 second pause between the green for you to go and the red that they just received to have people clear the intersection. And let me just say, if you're a cautious driver, you're going to wait another 1 or 2 intersections to make sure everybody clears, because people, and there's nothing that we can do, but people just continue to run to the red lights after the fact, just because everybody's in a hurry.
I don't
But
know.
we do have that built in, but you don't want to put too much in, because then people start noticing it, and then the incident of people running does it. The best thing is to have enforcement, but it takes a lot of employee power from the PD.
Yeah,
I hope
my-
that answers your question,
It
Counselor.
did. My wife works right there on that corner, so they have a lot of, she responds to a lot of accidents right there.
Yeah, when I did a study, it was a tremendous amount of accidents, but a traffic light's the strongest traffic control that we have, other than you put an officer right there in the middle.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my office is actually right on that corner as well. It's across the street from there, and there are the accidents are always daytime accidents, and we're really, I'd be curious to, and I don't know if you remember from the study, I'd be curious to see that. My assumption is that it's people coming, well, I don't know. I wonder which way,
It's both directions.
they're both directions.
I have a stack of reports
Yeah.
like that in the 3-year period.
Yeah, so it's, the one building on the corner there, it is a bit
Yeah, High Q
obstructed.
got some close calls.
And then the, what used to be whatever restaurant over in the other corner from High Q, which is now Harbor Petroleum, but it's right there, so, but it is obstructed view. But every time I go through that intersection, I don't assume that green means go. I always check both ways on that intersection.
No, it just says,
because of that.
on any intersection in any town anymore, just when you get your green, give it a couple seconds and then go. Let the person behind you honk, but it's your safety and safety of your passengers.
Thank you. Any other questions? If not, we move to public comment, and I do notice that Larry Connolly is here in the audience. I would love to have a report from you because we haven't seen you such a long time. Would you mind giving us a report? I know normally you sign up and speak, but we're going to call on you this time. But it's good to see you again. It's good to see you out and about. We've been trying to keep this place together without you, so.
Yes, Larry Conley, 2815 in Canto. My first meeting in 11 and a half months. I want to thank you all. Great job you've done over the last 11 and a half. My only complaint about infrastructure, my green bins are gone. It took me 45 days to convince my wife that we continue to recycle. But other than that, I'm expecting taxes to go down. Thank you, and job well done.
Thank you, Larry.
And to our new people, welcome to Roswell. And
All right, I'm glad that he chose our committee. That makes us more special. We must be the best committee if he chose us to be the first committee to come back to, so. And we are on Mondays too, that is true. Great, well, if there is no further business, we will adjourn. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great day.